the national technology standards, where I'm going to pass it over to Katie, where she's going to start you off with the teacher standards.
All right. So as Emma said, my name's Katie. I'm going to switch my computer screen here so you can see my presentation. Uh, okay. So I did the first two National Technology Teacher Standards. So the first standard I did is facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity. For this one, it basically means that teachers should use what they already know about education and technology to incorporate both in the classroom so that learning, creativity, innovation, self-reflection, and collaboration are promoted while engaging students in authentic real-world learning. The second standard is to design and develop digital age learning experiences and assessments. For this one, teachers should incorporate technology into the classroom to promote learning and creativity. They should reach different types of learners and different ability levels. Students should be allowed to be active in their own learning. They should set their own goals, manage their own learning, and assess their own progress. And teachers should also provide varied assessments, which they will then use to shape the future curriculum. Um, so for these two standards, I used examples for teachersfirst.com. For the first standard of facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity, my example I used was canva.com. This website it allows users to create advertisements, posters, memes, pictures, things like that. It's free to get an account. To print or download your work will, in most cases, cost money, usually a few dollars, depending on how many graphics you use. But it is free to email your work or save it on your own account or put it on social media. So that in a classroom setting, you wouldn't necessarily need to spend any money. To apply it to the standard, students could work in small groups or pairs, and they could create their own advertisements based on a real-world issue or topic they chose or that you were talking about in class, and this would ensure that their learning would be authentic. So we're going to click on the link, go to canva.com, and this is what it would look like your home page. So I just made this, I made both of these just really quick to show an example. So if you wanted to make your own, you would click on more, or there are some options. So you just pick what you want to do. So if I wanted to do a advertisement, I might click on Facebook ad. Those are really the shape of your project. There are templates here, but you can also make your own completely. You can drag in your own background. As you see, these are free, but as you go down, they cost $1. Most things are either free or $1. So elements is icons and little shapes. So for my advertisement, maybe I want to put in a person. If it's an issue, maybe I want that person to be sad. So I'll put in a teardrop. I'll search for pictures of teardrops like this one. So drag and drop, make that fit. And then maybe I'll put text over here. You can add as many graphics as you would like. You can really play around with it. If you come up here to share, these are the free options. You could post it on your social media, email it. You can share or email it as an editable design so other people can also edit your design, or you can post your link. This would be helpful, for instance, if you had a class Twitter or a blog, something like that. You could all see it, or you could just go on each other's dashboards on Canva. Download is the payment part. You can download images or PDFs. This way you can print it, but it will cost money depending on how many graphics you put in. So that's my example for the first standard. For the second standard, used. The second standard was design and develop digital age learning experiences and assessments. For this one, I used Quizalize. This is a website where you can create online classes and give those classes online quizzes. You can design your own quiz from scratch, or you can pick ones already made from other teachers. It's all free. To give it to your students, you just give them an access code and they can go directly to the quiz. And then once they take the quiz, all of the data goes to the teacher's dashboard stored in the classes. So you can see everyone's scores, all the data, what they got right, what they got wrong, and use that information to plan further instruction. And that's why it's an example of the standard, because you're using the data from their assessments to plan for their instruction. So you can go to Quizalize.com. This is what the homepage looks like. There's a demo quiz that you can take, a printable guide for the website, and a video that tells you all about it. This is your create your quiz option. It's very easy to do. I made one of this as an example, or you can browse the marketplace and pick one from somebody else. So go up to your quizzes. This is the one I made as the example. You click on it. It shows you the questions. Give it to my class is how you get the access code, and you can edit it. And then once they take it, you go to your classes. You open your dashboard, and it takes you to zzish.com. And so I only have one student in my class at the moment, but this student took the quiz. He got everything right. I can see how fast he answered each question. How fast he answered each question. And if he got anything wrong, I could see that. I could see the percent he got. You can also tailor how the students see the quizzes. You can change if it's timed or not, how long it's timed for, if when they answer a question wrong, it shows them the right answer, if they can answer it again if they get it wrong, or if it can make noises to help them know when time's running out or if they got it right or wrong. So that can be helpful. A lot of those changes can be helpful for students with different learning types. Maybe differentiating learning for students with disabilities or ELL learners. But yeah, so that's my second standard. So I'm going to give it to Maddie now to talk about the third standard.
Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm going to talk about the third standard. So I'm going to share my screen. And to start this presentation. So the third standard is Model Digital Age and Work and Learning. Teachers are fluent in technology systems and are able to apply it to student innovation. Teachers should be able to use prior knowledge and to use new technology, and use a digital technology to collaborate with colleagues, students, and parents. So teachers should be knowledgeable of the technology that is out there, and they should be making efforts to use it in their classroom. And the example that I have for this is Widbook. This resource allows teachers and students to share digital text, images, and videos. This tool is a great way to collaborate using technology. This could be used as a presentation tool for a book report rather than using a PowerPoint or a poster. Students can make a Widbook page rather than to present the information. Teachers who are fluent in these types of tools give students a variety of assessment options, which is a good way to reach out to all students. So I'm going to click on this link and then go look at the website. So this is an example of a book that I started about George Washington. So I'm going to click on continue writing. You can have different chapters, which basically means they're different pages. So you can add text, you can add pictures, As you can see, it looks similar to a Word document. You have these types of tools up here. You could say, I'm just going to add something here. So I'll show you how it comes up. So once you have entered something in, you can click Done. Then go to your ebook page, click More, start reading. So here's what it looks like once you've started it. And students can really use this for anything, like any kind of presentation. It's a great way to branch out from what they normally do with PowerPoints and posters and whatnot. So I'm going to let Emma talk about the next standard.
My name is Emma Weiss, as Maddie just said, and I am going to share with you the fourth standard for technology for teachers. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so the fourth standard for teachers is to promote and model digital citizenship and responsibility. And just to overview that, teachers must provide a proper environment for all students to have equal opportunities to learn. And they must be able to show the students how to become a digital citizen. So over here, I have a lesson plan for my example. And I'm going to click on the link to my lesson plan. I've modified these lessons to adhere to these standards. So the goal of this lesson is to research egg-laying animals, and we would have already gone over this in class. As you can see here, evaluating data, and right here these objectives. Students will work with a group to create model eggs and a model habitat. This is a great, easy, and fun lesson plan for students to get started. They need to do the research online. So what I would do as a teacher would be modeling the research, showing them how to be a digital citizen. I would give credit to my resources and just overall teach the students and show them how to abide by the rules and the laws of the internet. And now I'm going to pass it back to Maddie for the fifth standard.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, the fifth standard is engage in professional growth and leadership. Teachers promote use of technology by demonstrating effectiveness and participating in decision making. Participation in learning communities to be exposed to new things, reflecting on current professional practices. So this means that teachers need to be getting out there into the professional community and learning new technology resources to use in their classroom. And they should be taking leadership and using them. So because this is all about professional development, I found this website, Leaning Forward, that teachers can learn about upcoming conferences, they can read journals, they can get involved in the professional community, and it's a great way to learn of new technology and ways to use it in the classroom. So I'm going to click on the link and show you what it looks like. So as you can see, there are several different ways you can go here. You can click on this and learn about the annual conference, which is the page that we are on now. There are publications. So if you click on this, there are tons and tons of things that anyone can read to develop their professionalism. You can go here and get involved, and there are several different options. There are learning opportunities, webinars, which is seminars online so that anyone can see them no matter where they are. And I'm going to pass it over to who is speaking next.
That would be me. I'm going to start with the student standards for technology. So the first student standard for technology is creativity and innovation. And through the use of technology, students demonstrate creative thinking and construct knowledge by using their prior knowledge and to build new ideas, to create original work, for them to be responsible for the research that they've done and to present it in a new and creative way. So what I've done for this example is a simple lesson plan. Like I said, I've adapted these lesson plans to include technology. So this lesson plan establishes language arts skills through listening and reading books involving blue themes. So this is quite a large, excuse me, let me share my screen again. Sorry about that. This example for creativity and innovation. This is the lesson plan for the blue themes. We're going to read several books that has to deal with the color blue. And you see all of the Common Core standards here. This is quite a long lesson plan. You do it over 2 weeks. And it has examples here of objectives, things like writing sentences, doing lists of suffixes from the root words. Students will write 3 paragraphs retelling a story of Old Blue. And all of these can be done using technology, especially with children with special needs. Someone with a visual impairment can use a computer to have an audiobook read to them so they can really understand and really get into the creativity of retelling the story. Also, children who have trouble with handwriting, they can type their projects instead of writing them so they can get their feelings across. Technology is really a good use for children to be creative, giving them more opportunities to show what they know about the things that they have learned. So back to my Prezi. The next standard for students is communication and collaboration. And in this lesson, students will be in pairs researching famous explorers, and they will collectively create a tombstone for their explorer, and they will have to do research on that. One of the objectives for the lesson plan is to get this assignment in on time. As you see, can be completed on time. So to provide opportunities for students to complete their work together, technology really gives them the medium to do that. They can use a Google Hangout, for example, like we are doing right now, to get an assignment done and talk to each other about the things that they are going to learn. Or a Google Doc would be a great device to use as they're doing their research, just to add notes and ideas, and just getting the kids to communicate using technology. Another extension from this lesson plan that can be used is to find out where their explorer is from and try to find a pen pal and really communicate with other cultures, and just trying to understand how they use technology to help them within their schools and their assignments. So I am going to pass it off to the number 3 standard, excuse me, for the students.
Okay. All right, I'm sharing my screen again. The number 3 standard for students is research and information fluency. So students use digital technology to locate appropriate resources for their research task. Technology should be used to plan research strategies, find a variety of appropriate resources, and to process data. So for this, I used Moodlebib/EasyBib. And this is a great website because if a student is having trouble citing, this website will show them how to do it, and it will cite them for them. There are research tools. So let's say you're researching lions. You can search lions and press search, and it'll find tons of resources for you. And you can even cite it, and it says whether it's credible, maybe credible. You can go to a notebook, but for this you have to pay. So there are plenty of other free resources on this website to use. There's a citation guide, which this is my favorite thing about this website, is that if you have any questions about researching anything, you can click on one of these links. I'm going to go to the research guide, and it has answers to your questions. So if you have a question about how to tell if you're plagiarizing, click on this and there will be tons of information for students to look at. And here's a total list of all the guides right here. So it's very informative for any student who needs extra help with researching strategies. And the fourth The fourth standard is critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making. Students use critical thinking skills to make informed decisions when researching and using technology. Students should be able to identify the problem and to define questions, plan strategies to develop a solution, collect data, and find multiple solutions. So for an example of a technology used for this standard is a website called Know More. This website has information on a wide variety of topics. It focuses on visuals so that it's more of an attention grabber. The goal of the website is to inspire students who want to dig deeper into a variety of topics. And this can be used because once a student has picked a topic from the website, they can find more resources about it. So I'll show you the website. So as you can tell from the website, it is a series of graphs. So let's say one of them catches my attention, and I'll pick this one. So if I look at the graph and I decide that I'm interested in this topic, I can choose to know more, which is this link. But if I choose that decide that I'm not interested, then I will click on here, and it will give me a different thing to look at. But I'm going to say that I want to know more about this topic. So it takes me to the article that the visual came from, so I can learn more about the topic. And it's a great way for students to start thinking deeper into things they haven't yet thought about, and to discover new problem-solving strategies and more critical thinking strategies from being exposed to new things. So I'm going to pass it off to the next standard.
All right, so I have standard number 5 and 6. So I'm going to go back to my Prezi here in just a second. And there we go. Okay. So, I'm sorry, hold on just 1 second. So I'm going to go back to where I explained the standards. So standard number 5 is digital citizenship. Students should practice behaviors while using technology that are safe, legal, and responsible. They should be using technology for learning, collaboration, and productivity. And they should also take personal responsibility for lifelong learning and exhibit leadership for digital citizenship. Standard number 6 is technology operations and concepts. Students should be able to demonstrate that they understand and know how to use technology. They should be able to select and use applications that meet the needs of what they're doing. They should be able to troubleshoot when they run into issues, and they should be able to apply their prior knowledge of technology when using unfamiliar technology. So go over here to my first example from Teachers First. This is for standard number 5, digital citizenship. So for this one, I used a website called Think Before You Link. This is a resource put out by Intel and Discovery Education, and it teaches students about internet safety and good digital citizenship. There are also tips for teachers and parents on this website. But for the students, there are 3 modules on cyber safety, cybersecurity, and cyber ethics. It's a good resource for a technology integrated classroom because it promotes that good digital citizenship and it teaches the students how to be safe and responsible. So we're going to click on this link and go to the website. And this is the home page. As you can see up here, there's a Students tab, an Educators tab, and a Family tab. So right now I'm on the Students tab, and this is what the students would do, obviously. So these are the 3 modules: cyber safety, cyber security, and cyber ethics. Before I go into one, as you can see, there's additional resources over here. There's activities for kids and the National Cyber Security Alliance. But so if you click on the curriculum module, it'll take you into it. And it's a fun little interactive thing. So as you can see, I don't know if you can hear it because it's on the headphones, but it's talking right now. It's talking along with the words, but it tells you to do, sorry, it's hard to talk over it, but it gives you instructions on what to do, and it takes you through this kid being online and how to be safe online, how to make usernames and passwords that are safe, stuff like that. And there's one for security and ethics as well. So back to my presentation here. We're going to go to the last student standard, standard number 6, technology operations and concepts. For this one, I used Microsoft Education or Microsoft Educator Network. I thought this was a really useful resource for the technology integrated classroom. It's helpful to teachers when introducing new technology, but it's also useful for students. There's a ton of tools, apps, and add-ins on this website that can be used for education. Also, there's a whole student resources section that's specifically for them to learn and use the Microsoft tools. Students can explore different tools to find ones that meet the need of their work, and it also has tutorials so they can troubleshoot if they run into issues. So we'll go to this website, Microsoft.com, and this is the homepage. There's all sorts of different stuff: Skype, Classroom Digital Conference, OneNote, all that stuff from Microsoft. But if you go up here to students and you go down to student resources, this is where it has all those tools and tutorials. So here's tutorials over here: Windows, IT training, OneNote, Office. Over here you have tools. So you got PowerPoint, Excel, Power Map, all of those. You have templates over here for presentations, and then you have blogs down here for learning more about what people do with these technologies. So that was my example for the last standard. So next, we're each going to talk about, we're going to conclude our Hangout, and we're each going to talk about what we thought was the most important 3 things when we are using the NETS standards. So for mine, I said it's important for there to be equitable access for all students, teachers, and administration, and ideally parents as well, in order for technology integrated education to be successful. Also, the curriculum should be designed around the students and their specific needs and abilities. And it's important that the teachers become skilled with technology and have skilled support staff to provide students with the resources and assistance that they need to meet the student standards as well. Finally, this is my list of resources that I used in my presentation. And now we're going to go ahead to Maddie to get her conclusion.
Okay. Share my PowerPoint again. Okay, so my 3 points were that there are many different ways to interpret the standards, so each teacher needs to find out what the standard means and to decide how he or she wants to use it in their classroom. And there are also different degrees in which the standards can be met. So one teacher might have a different degree to which he or she wants to meet the standard and chooses to find resources to meet the standard. And also that the same resources and lessons can be applied to several different standards, so it's important to explore all possibilities for a tool when using it so that it can reach the full potential of the resource. So, I'm going to pass it off to Emma.
So my conclusion is next. And I'm going to share my screen. And my conclusion is very similar to Katie's. I want to consider before applying these standards is the age and the ability level of the students. Everything needs to be considered about your students. You need to know your students and how they learn before you ask them to use these standards and before you teach them how to use these standards. Also, my ability to understand technology and be able to present it in a cohesive way so they can learn it. And the environment in which the standards are being utilized. Do I have enough computers for all of my students to use them and be creative and innovative with their projects and presentations? Do I have PowerPoint and things that they can use so they can learn better and present their learning better? And here are my resources for my presentation. And that is all we have.
All right.
So thank you very much for participating in our Google Hangout.